Thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 10. I'm Brent Harden. Earlier this evening, 9 fishermen needed to be rescued from a Bridgeport breakwater after the tide came in and conditions in the sound turned choppy. Fox 61's Priscilla Meza has those details.
This all happened here at Seaside Park, and I was told the breakwater could be a danger, and people, especially those who aren't familiar with the area, need to take the warning signs seriously. Assistant Fire Chief Andrew Ellis says when the 9 fishermen couldn't safely make their way back, crews brought in 2 small boats pulling 3 people at a time and bringing them to a larger fireboat. Ellis says crews then brought everyone back to the dock on Water Street. No one was hurt, but police did issue tickets to the fishermen. Ellis says many of them were from New York and may not be familiar with the dangers of the area.
The water is very unforgiving, especially when it's choppy and the tides are coming in, and if you're not really a strong swimmer or you don't know how to swim at all, it can become very dangerous, and bad things can happen.
Ellis says the breakwater can be especially dangerous at night with uneven, slippery rocks and water that can quickly rise around you. He says the fire department trains for these types of water rescues, and today that training made a difference.
One of the boats was out training this morning, and the other one was out there this afternoon. Our bigger boat, Fireboat 233, was out training when the call came in, so they were on the water, and they were there pretty quick to help them out.
And Ellis has this message for anyone heading out onto the breakwater. Check the tide charts posted around the area, know your surroundings, and don't underestimate the water, especially when conditions turn choppy. In Bridgeport, Priscilla Meza, Fox 61.
Priscilla, thank you. Hartford police are investigating a deadly shooting after officers responded to Wethersfield Avenue early Sunday morning. Police arrived around 1:40 at 737 Wethersfield Avenue following a shot spotter alert and found a man unresponsive. He was pronounced dead at the scene. 4 other people were also shot. 2 men and a woman are in the hospital listed as stable, while another man is listed in critical but stable condition. Police say the major crimes and crime scene divisions are investigating, and anyone with information on what happened there is asked to call the Hartford police. Well, Bridgeport police have arrested a 17-year-old in connection with a fatal shooting in July. He turned himself in on Friday for the death of Leon Richardson. Richardson was found shot multiple times in his car back on July 27th. The suspect was charged with murder and carrying a pistol without a permit. Police said a murder charge requires the case be moved to adult court. He will appear in court on Monday. All right, we'll have rainy conditions tonight. That will lead to a wet Monday morning commute. Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank has the latest on the timing. Rach, what's going on?
Yeah, definitely a soggy start to the day tomorrow, but the good news is we're not expecting any heavy downpours, but you may need an umbrella and you may need to use the windshield wipers on your way out the door tomorrow. So a few showers coming through. We do turn drier as we head through the afternoon, and both Tuesday and Wednesday of this week look absolutely lovely. So here's a look at those showers that are coming through right now. And it was kind of nice that most of them held off until later in the day and certainly at night. Manchester, Vernon, Andover seeing some of that rain right now. You'll see back behind this initial push, there is a break in the action. And even though we're seeing more rain back through Pennsylvania, most of that is heading to the south of us. So again, we're not expecting a ton of rain, but a few showers at least scattered across the state to begin. Heading through the afternoon, I think we are cloudy and then turn mostly cloudy. Some late day sunshine is possible. Highs will be in the 70s, and we are going to keep quite a bit of the humidity around as we head through the day tomorrow. It won't be until later Tuesday and Wednesday that we do see it drop back again, and we are looking at more in the way of sunshine. Your full forecast, we'll talk about the days ahead coming up in just a bit.
All right, Rachel, thank you. The State Police Major Crimes Unit and the East Windsor Police are still investigating the death of a 1-year-old boy who was left in a truck yesterday. The boy's father faces risk of injury charges, and tonight we've learned more charges may be coming. Fox 61's Valerie Moravi has more.
Well, there's still a lot of questions surrounding the death of the 1-year-old child. Meanwhile, police say the father, identified as Kevin Pell, has already been charged with risk of injury to a minor. Police say the child was found unresponsive after being left alone in a pickup truck on Rockville Road in East Windsor Saturday. Medical personnel responded to the scene around 2:24 p.m. Once there, officials say the child's father, identified as 47-year-old Kevin Pell, told dispatchers he had left his son alone in the vehicle. Police have not said how long the child was left alone. They say when Pell returned to check on the child, he found him blue and not breathing. Officials say Pell performed CPR on his son, and after several efforts to save the child, he was taken to Connecticut Children's, where he was later pronounced dead. Saturday, investigators say Pell was arrested and charged with risk of injury to a minor, and he's being held on a $1 million bond. Police said additional charges are possible as the investigation continues. Those charges will be filed through an arrest warrant. Now, police say they will not release additional information at this time, but the investigation remains active. In East Windsor, Valerie Moravi, Fox 61.
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration says the Cyclosporiasis outbreak has now spread to 17 states, with 100 cases here in Connecticut. According to the FDA, more than 9,400 people in the U.S. have been infected and nearly 400 people have been hospitalized. Since the federal agency's last update on August 5th, Maine and Massachusetts have been added to the list of states with cases. Cyclosporiasis is a type of food poisoning caused by a tiny parasite. It can cause weeks of diarrhea if left untreated. The FDA has linked the outbreak to iceberg lettuce, but that may not account for all cases in the U.S. this year. A nationwide recall has since been issued on iceberg lettuce imported from Mexico by the company Taylor Farms. Taylor Farms says it's doing a full review of its safety processes and protocols. Well, Connecticut's annual sales tax-free week started today, and that means from now until next Saturday, many clothes and school supplies will not be hit with the state sales tax. Fox 61's Skylar Music spoke to back-to-school shoppers who say tax-free week helps, but it may not be enough.
Here at the shops at Evergreen Walk in South Windsor, shoppers are trying to take advantage of sales tax-free items before school starts. But a working high school senior says for him, tax-free doesn't really make a difference.
It's annoying when the minimum wage is still very low, but everything else is shot up.
January 1st of 2027, Connecticut's minimum wage will go from $16.94 to $17.48 an hour. However, Jack Wilder tells us the price tags he's seeing are still too high for that 54-cent difference. So what are the most expensive back-to-school items, according to students?
Backpacks, yeah.
Lunchboxes.
Yeah. Shoes, clothes.
These are all on the tax-free list, as long as each item is $300 or less. That's up from the previous $100 limit. But with many families struggling to make ends meet, college student Danielle Drillette is calling on state leaders for more support.
People who actually govern the state should think a little bit more about the students, about people who doesn't have a match, not only for the student, but also the parents, people that actually working really hard.
Sales tax-free week ends August 22nd, and the full list of eligible items is at fox61.com. In South Windsor, Skylar Music, Fox 61.
And tomorrow at 12:30, Comptroller Sean Scanlon will join state and local leaders for a back-to-school event benefiting families served by the Department of Children and Families. The event at DCF's Olive Branch in Glastonbury marks the 4th year of a partnership that's provided hundreds of free backpacks and school supplies. Kids will also get haircuts, pizza, and a chance to play in a bounce house. Senator Richard Blumenthal, Lieutenant Governor Susan Bysowitz, and DCF Commissioner Susan Hamilton are all expected to attend. Well, yesterday, the Wilson Gray YMCA gave out more than 650 backpacks at their back-to-school Backpacks and Barbecue Bash in Hartford. They fed everyone lots of barbecue, provided free haircuts and braiding services, school supplies, clothes, and much more. They also had resource organizations helping families get set up for a successful school year. Students and staff also took a moment to have some fun playing games. Executive Director of the Wilson Gray YMCA, Julia DeFeo, says this annual event is all about sending kids off to school knowing they're cared for, not just today, but year-round.
You come back Monday and you're going to find the same thing in a different way and not to this magnitude, but when you walk back in here, you're going to find those same resources, these same people, the same staff that are here saying, what do you need, and have a hand that's going to actually help you up.
Well, to see more upcoming events from the YMCA, you can check out their website or app.